Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Let us start with chapter number 11 from Indian Geography, class 12th. This chapter is about international trade. It is a pretty small chapter, and let's see uh, how much time we take to complete this chapter. Let us examine the changing pattern of India's international trade. In 1950s 51, India's external trade was worth rupees 1,214 crore, which rose to about 44 lakh 29,000 crore in 1617. Can you calculate the percentage growth in 1617 over 5051? There are numerous reasons for this sharp rise in overseas trade, such as momentum picked up by the manufacturing sectors, the liberal policies of the government, and the diversification of markets. The nature of India's foreign trade has changed over years. Though there has been an increase in the total volume of import and export, the value of import continued to be higher than that of exports. Changing pattern of composition of India's exports. The composition of commodities in India's international trade has been undergoing a change over the years. The share of agriculture and allied products has declined, whereas shares of petroleum and crude products and other commodities have increased. The shares of ore minerals and manufactured goods have largely remained constant over the years from 2009 to 10, to 10 to 11, and 15-16 to 16-17. The decline in traditional items is largely due to tough international competition. Amongst the agricultural products, there is a decline in the export of traditional items such as coffee, cashew, etc. Though an increase has been registered in the floricultural products, fresh fruits, marine products, and sugar, etc. Manufacturing sector alone accounted for 73.6% of India's total value in export in 1617. Engineering goods have shown a significant growth in the export. China and other East Asian countries are a major competitors. Gems and jewelry contributes a larger share of India's foreign trade. China changing patterns of composition of India's import. India faced serious food shortage during 1950s and 60s. The major item of import at that time was food grain, capital goods, machinery and equipment. The balance of payment was adverse as imports were more than export in spite of all the efforts of import substitution. After 1970s, food grain import was discontinued due to the success of Green Revolution, but the energy crisis in 1973 pushed the prices of petroleum and import budget was also pushed up. Food grain import was replaced by fertilizer and petroleum. Machine and equipment, special steel, edible oil, and chemicals largely make the import basket. Examine the changing pattern of imports in table 11.4 and try to comprehend the shifts. Table 11.4 shows that there is a steep rise in the import of petroleum products. It is used not only as fuel but also as an industrial raw material. It indicates the tempo of rising industrialization and better standard of living. Sporadic price rise in the international market is another reason for the same. Import of capital goods maintained a steady increase due to rising demand in the export oriented industrial and domestic sectors. Non electrical machinery, transport equipment, manufacturers of metals, and machine tools were the main items of capital goods. Import of food and allied products declined with a fall in imports of edible oils. Other major items of India's import include pearls and semi precious stones, gold and silver, metalliferous ores and metal scrap, non ferrous metals, electronic goods, etc. The details of Indian imports of some principal commodities during 1617 have been given in table 11.5. Direction of trade. India has trade relations with most of the countries in major trading blocks of the world. Region wise and sub region wise, trade during 1617 has been given in 11.6. Table 11.6 shows 5 countries in which Europe has highest number of imports and Asia and ASEAN have the lowest number of imports. India aims to double its share in the international trade within the next 5 years. It has already started adopting suitable measures such as import liberalization, reduction in import duties, de-licensing, and change from process to product patents. Most of India's foreign trade is carried through sea and air routes. However, a small portion is also carried through land route to neighboring countries like Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. Seaports as gateways of international trade. India is surrounded by sea from three sides and is bestowed with a long coastline. Water provides a smooth surface for very cheap transport provided there is no turbulence. India has a long tradition of seafaring and developed many ports with place names suffixed with patan, naming patan meaning port. An interesting fact about ports in India is that its west coast has more ports than the east coast. Though ports have always been used since ancient times, the emergence of ports as gateways of international trade became important after the coming of European traders and colonization of the country by British. This led to variation in size and quality of ports. There are some ports which have very vast area of influence and some have limited area of influence. At present, India has 12 major ports and 200 minor or intermediate ports. In case of major ports, the central government decides the policy and plays regulatory functions. The minor ports are there whose policy and functions are regulated by state governments. The major ports handle larger share of total traffic. Just a point of order in this paragraph. There was a recent article in which the article stated that minor ports that are maintained by the state are also now or will be coming under the center. Now, this I will link the article and the video in the tags above, and you can refer to that. All right, moving ahead. The British used the ports as suction points of resources from their hinterlands. The extension of railways towards the interior facilitated the linking of total markets to regional markets to national markets, and national markets to international markets. This trend continued till 1947. It was expected that the country's independence will reverse the process, but the partition of the country snatched away two very important ports. The Karachi port went to Pakistan and Chittagong post to erstwhile East Pakistan and now Bangladesh. To compensate the losses, many new ports like the Kanla port in the west and the Diamond Harbour near Kolkata on River Hooghly in the east were developed. Despite this major setback, Indian ports continued to grow after independence. Today, Indian ports are handling large volumes of domestic as well as overseas trade. Most of the ports are equipped with modern infrastructure. Previously, the development and modernization was a responsibility of the government agencies. But considering the increase in function and need to bring these ports at par with international ports, private entrepreneurs have been invited for modernization of the ports in India. The capacity of Indian ports has increased from 20 million tons of cargo handling in 1951 to more than 837 million tons in 2016. Some of the Indian ports, along with their hinterlands, are as follows. Kanla Port, situated at the head of Gulf of Kutch, has been developed as a major port to cater the needs of western and northwestern parts of the country, and also to reduce the pressure at Mumbai port. The port is specially designed to receive large quantities of petroleum and petroleum products and fertilizer. The offshore terminal at Wadinar has been developed to reduce the pressure at Kanla port. Demarcation of the boundary of hinterland would be difficult as it is not fixed over space. In most of the cases, hinterland of one port may overlap with that of another. Mumbai as a natural harbour and the biggest port of the country. The port is situated closer to the general routes from countries of Middle East, Mediterranean countries, North Africa, North America, and Europe, where the major share of the country's overseas trade is carried out. The port is 20 kilometers long and 6 to 10 kilometers wide with 54 berths and has country's largest oil terminal. MP, Maharashtra, Gujarat, UP, and parts of Rajasthan constitute the main hinterlands of Mumbai ports. Jawaharlal Nehru Port at Nhava Sheva was developed as a satellite port to relieve the pressure of the Mumbai port. It is the largest container port in India. Marmugao Port, situated at the entrance of the Zuari estuary, is a natural harbour in Goa. It gained significance after its remodeling in 1961 to handling iron ore exports to Japan. Construction of Konkan Railway has considerably extended the hinterland of this port. Karnataka, Goa, southern Maharashtra constitute its hinterland. New Mangalore Port is located in the state of Karnataka and caters to the needs of export of iron ore and iron concentrates. It also handles fertilizers, petroleum products, edible oils, coffee, tea, wood, pulp yarn, granite stone, molasses, etc. Karnataka is the major hinterland for this port. Kochi port, situated at the head of Vembanad Kayal, popularly known as the Queen of Arabian Sea, is also a natural harbour. This port has an advantageous location bearing close to the Suez Colombo route. It caters to the needs of Kerala, southern Karnataka, and southwestern Tamil Nadu. Kolkata port is located on the Hooghly River, 128 kilometers inland from the Bay of Bengal. Like the Mumbai port, this port was also developed by the British. Kolkata had an initial advantage of being the capital of British India. The port has lost its significance considerably on account of the diversion of exports to the other parts of the other ports such as Vishakhapatnam, Paradip, and its satellite port Haldia. Kolkata port also confronted with the problem of silt accumulation in the Hooghly River, which provides a link to the sea. Its hinterland covers UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Sikkim, and northeastern states. Apart from this, it also extends port facilities to our neighboring landlocked countries such as Nepal and Bhutan. Haldia port is located 105 kilometers downstream from Kolkata. It has been constructed to reduce the congestion at Kolkata port. It handles bulk cargo like iron ore, coal, petroleum products, and fertilizers, jute products, cotton yarn, etc. Paradip port is situated in the Mahanadi Delta, about 100 kilometers from Cuttack. It has the deepest harbor, specially suited to handle very large vessels. It has been developed mainly to handle large scale export developed of iron ore. Odisha, Chhattisgarh, and Jharkhand are the ports in its hinterland. Vishakhapatnam port in Andhra Pradesh is landlocked harbor connected to the sea by a channel cut through solid rock and sand. An outer harbor has been developed for handling iron ore, petroleum, and general cargo. Andhra Pradesh and Telangana are the main hinterland for this port. Chennai port are the oldest port on the eastern coast. It is an artificial harbor built in 1859. It is not much suitable for large ships because of the shallow waters near the coast. Tamil Nadu and Puducherry are its hinterland. Ennore, a newly developed port in Tamil Nadu, has been constructed 25 kilometers north of Chennai to relieve the pressure at the Chennai port. Tuticorin port was developed to relieve the pressure of the Chennai port. It deals with a variety of cargo, including coal, salt, food grains, edible oils, sugar, chemicals, and petroleum products. Airports. Air transport plays an important role in the international trade. It has been advantage of taking least time for carriage and handling of high value of perishable goods over long distances. It is very closely and unsuitable for carrying heavy and bulky commodities. This ultimately reduces the participation of this sector in the international trade as compared to oceanic routes. There were 25 major airports functioning in the country. Annual Report 1617. They are Ahmedabad, Bengaluru, Chennai, Delhi, Goa, Guwahati, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Mumbai, Thiruvananthapuram, Srinagar, Jaipur, Calicut, Nagpur, Coimbatore, Cochin, Lucknow, Pune, Chandigarh, Mangaluru, Vishakhapatnam, Indore, Patna, Bhubaneswar, and Kannur. You have already studied about the air transport in the previous chapter. You consult the chapter on transport to find out the main features of air transport in India. Alright, with this we finish the chapter number 11 as well. Now only one chapter remains, and also this chapter also has some important maps to look at. This map is about the airlines. Alright, so this is about the air traffic in India, the air routes present in India. Do go through this chapter and do write in the comment section below if you have any doubts, feedback, or any queries. Thank you everyone for watching. Do share and subscribe to the channel and keep supporting us. Thank you everyone.